Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I am going to add the OnclickListener to our views, that is button and text view. That will be act as the keys or labels of our piano keys. So let's start this lecture. So switch back to your Android Studio and just click on MainActivity.java. But first I need to change this into landscape mode. And here you can see that it is running fine in our emulator as well. So minimize it and just click on MainActivity.java. So first, just here the line is written, that is public MainActivity extends app compact activity. Just at the end of app compact activity, simply press space and type implements. Then hit the tab key and we need to implement an interface, that is view.onClickListener. Simply hit tab and you can see that it gives us an error. So simply click on this red bulb icon and implement methods. Because it is an interface and we need to override the methods of the interface. So right now we need to override this onClick method. Simply hit OK. So you can see that the method onClick is overridden. Now it's time to add the listener to all the buttons and text views. So how you can do that? It's very simple. Just simply here you need to press enter and type TC3. Hit a tab key and dot set OnclickListener. This is the second one. Just hit a tab key. And here it will expect an argument. So we need to specify the context of the activity, that is this. Now similarly you need to specify the OnclickListener to the other text view variables as well. Just hit an enter key and click Ctrl V. And here is what to do. You just simply copy TD3, that is the variable name of text. Simply hit paste. Similarly you need to do with the other ones as well. Just copy this one and paste it here, and then TE3 copy and here paste it, and again copy this one because it will save a little time for the typing. That's why I am copying and pasting, and then hit a Ctrl V. Then again at the end of, just first copy this one, that's it is F3 dot set OnclickListener, and again paste it, and again I am going to copy and again I am going to paste it. So it will take time, but it is the only thing because you need to do this coding stuff. There is no shortcut for this one to do it quickly. You need to do it manually because we have 60 keys in our piano application. Simply copy and again paste it here, just leaving the dot operator simply, and again copy this one, not this one. We want to copy the set OnclickListener one, and at the end press enter and Ctrl V, and then copy this TB3. Then TA3. So this will be complete the first set, that is TC3 to TB3. Now similarly you need to add a listener to the button as well. So I'm going to do the one set for you. Then you need to do it all the set for yourself because I'm going to make it in video so quickly. Set OnclickListener. Then this. So I'm saying that I'm going to skip the part of the video so that you can do it. You don't need to watch the boring stuff. Then here is BC3 black dot set OnclickListener, then type this, and again I'm going to copy and pasting the thing to make it more quickly, just not spending the time to on pasting. Simply copy, and then here you need to specify Ctrl V, again copy this one and add the end of this TD3 black, Ctrl V, then copy this button D3 black and then paste it here. So it will set the listener to the button D3 black. Then copy this again and again paste it. Then again copy button E3 and set here, copy and paste. It's the very easiest way to copy and paste. And again press enter, Ctrl V, then copy this button BF3 and simply paste it here at the front of set OnclickListener. Again copy this code and again simply at the end of this button F3 black, Ctrl V, then copy button F3 black variable name and replace with the button F3. And again copy the same line of code and again at the end of the button G3, Ctrl V, and then copy the button variable name button G3, replace it with the button F3 black. And again going to copy, we need to copy the listener one, not the find view ID one, Ctrl V, Then again copy the button G3 black variable name, replace with the button G3. Similarly you need to do with this one, that is button A3. Just paste it at the end of, I'm again going to here paste it. Then what you need to do, this is set OnclickListener BG3 and A3 black. So here you need to copy A3 black and set the listener in place of button G3. So it will set the listener to the button A3 as well. Then find the ID of button A3 black. Then here you need to again paste the code, not A3 code. This one, that is set OnclickListener A3. Again going to paste it and just simply copy the A3 black code and paste it here. Then this is button B3. This is the find by ID. Just copy it and replace with the button G3 black variable name. So now there is no need to be space. So you can see that I have all completed the first set of the piano key, that is C3 to B3. So similarly you need to specify the, means you need to add the OnclickListener to this one, this set and this cell. So I'm going to do it quickly for you so that you don't need to watch the entire video because it's a repetitive task. So finally I had did all the coding. Now it's time to run the application. You can see that I have already coded all the listeners, means I have set all the click listener to the all text views and also all buttons. Now it's time to run the application to see whether I have made any mistake or not. But before that, you can simply go to the top of the code. If you find any variable which actually looks like this one, that is scroll view, then it means that it is not properly assigned or listener is not set properly. But in my case, all the variables are looking yellow. So it means that the variables are properly assigned and properly listener is set it to them. So it's time to run the application. So I'm going to run the application in my virtual emulator. So here you can see that application is running fine. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I will be giving you some information about Soundpool and Mediaplayer. So let's start this lecture. So both Soundpool and Mediaplayer used to handle the audio files in Android. Now the question is which one to choose, Mediaplayer, Soundpool. So you will get to know about when you watch the entire lecture. Now moving forward, first I will be talking about Mediaplayer. The Mediaplayer is suitable for large files and it's also suitable for background tasks. Like in music application, you want to play a very large musical files that are 5 to 6 minutes long and that's a long process. So in order to achieve this task, the Mediaplayer is suitable for that task. In Mediaplayer, the file is loaded from the disk whenever it's called. This will save memory but introduce a small delay, not really noticeable. Means the Mediaplayer is suitable to play large files and it loads the file from the disk to save some memory and also some CPU usage. But it introduces a small delay, but that delay is unnoticeable to the user. Now it's time to talk about Soundpool. Soundpool is suitable for shorter sound clips and is best suited to use for sound effects. Like in games, mostly Soundpool is used. It loads a sound file into memory from the resource directory of the application, that is APK. That's why it is used for shorter files and ideal for playing piano notes as well. Now in my piano application, I use a Soundpool to play a piano note whenever a key is pressed. I can use a media player to play a piano note, but I not use the media player due to some reason, and that reason I'm going to explain practically inside the Android Studio. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to show you the concept of using Soundpool in my piano application, and why I am not using media player for playing the piano key notes. Now here you can see that I have all files for piano apps, a folder in which all piano notes are there in a different format. So you can see that I have OGG format and .mp3 format, and this is another .m4v M4a format. So I have piano note files in 3 different formats. So depending upon the requirement, you can use it or as per your application requirement. So I'm going to using the OGG format, although Android support MP3 format as well. But I get the piano note in a form of M4a format, so I converted it with the use of some converter software into 2 different other formats, that is MP3 and OGG. Luckily Android support all of them. If you want to know more about the different kinds of formats that Android support, you can check out the official documentation of the Android developer website. So I'm going to copy this OGG format, and I'm going to copy all these, pressing Ctrl A, which allow me to select all the files, and then pressing Ctrl C. Then after that I will switch back to my Android Studio again, and then I'm going to expand this and expand my app level directory, and then click on res, and instead of drawable I'm going to create a new raw directory. Then simply click on this Android resource directory and select from here raw folder that is used to play some audio files or used to store audio files. That is the best place, and that's why I like the Android Studio very well, because it's organized all the things properly for you. Simply hit OK, and here you need to simply click on this folder and simply right click on it, click on this paste, and it will prompt you to copy the files in a specified files in this directory. Simply hit OK, and you can see that by expanding this raw directory, all the files are here for the use. Simply close it, and I'm going to create another one because I want to demonstrate the use between the Soundpool and media file, or you can say that the difference between why I use the Soundpool in this application. Simply right click on this app folder and go to new, and then select activity, and from there you need to select another empty activity. Then a dialog box will pop up, and here you need to specify the name of your second activity that you are going to use in this entire application. So I'm going to name it as test, because at the end I'm just simply going to delete this activity. So I'm going to specify it with a capital letter, because all activity name must be started with a capital letter to create a proper organization of the application of files. So simply hit finish and wait for the Gradle, because the Gradle build is again started, and so we need to wait for the Gradle to complete the syncing process so that our activity is fully created and we can use it. So you can see that our activity is now fully created. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just simply going to click on this activity underscore test.xml file, and just first time click on this project tab so that I can get a more wider area to work. Simply I'm going to remove this one because I don't want, and I'm just changing the root layout of the activity screen to relative layout, because I don't want to use constraint layout, I want to use the relative layout. Then simply click on this design tab, and from there you can see there is no action bar because we have used in our style no action bar. Then you need to drag first a text view, then after text view you need to drag a button, then again a button, then again you need to specify a text view, then again a button, and then another button. Then you can see that in design editor it looks like weird. Simply just scroll too much, and just here you need to specify this button, again this button here, then this button you need to specify there, and this one is here. Just line it properly, because not too much, just simply align it so that it looks little bit good. And again specify this text view here and this text view at the center. Now I'm going to just simply switch back to the text mode again, and here I'm going to just click on this text view, and I'm going to making the width as match parent. Simply hit tab, again I'm going to click on the second text view and making this width as match parent as well. So you can see that, so this one is not cover the entire area, Now I'm going to click on this text view again, and I'm going to specify its text alignment property. So I'm going to type text alignment, that is this one, center. So our text will be displayed, and also going to specify the text size, that is 35 dp, and I'm going to name the text as Soundpool. Then again I'm going to click on this text view, that is first one. Here I'm going to specify the text alignment property again, the text alignment, and specifying it to center. Then again I'm going to specify the text size, that is text size 35 dp, and then changing the text to Mediaplayer. So that's it, the code of the designing. We don't want to change the name of these buttons, we don't need to change because we just want to tap and play a sound. Then switch back to again test.java file, and here to define the variables for the buttons. So I'm going to type button, and I'm going to type bt1, bt2, bt3, bt4. Then I'm going to initialize the IDs inside of the onCreate, because it's the best place to initialize the IDs of the all views. So I'm going to type bt1, I'm going to type find view by ID. First we need to typecast it. It's better to typecast it so that we are in a safer side, so that our application doesn't crash. I'm going to type button, find view by ID, and r dot id dot, and the ID of the button is button. This by default Android, if you are using relative layout, then it will defaultly gives the IDs as button 1, button 2, button 3. So then at the end of this first line, that is button 1 code, I am pressing Ctrl D 3 times, so it will duplicate the code. And here I am going to specify 2, then 3, then 4. So quickly it will allow me to make modification. That's why I specify the name. Almost it looks like similar. Then after that, we need to add some code for playing the sound. Means what I want to demonstrate, when I press on these two buttons of Mediaplayer, it will play the sound by using the Mediaplayer API. And these two buttons, when I tap on it, it will play the sound on pressing the button. But the problem is when you quickly pressing these two buttons, when quickly clicking on these buttons, the Mediaplayer actually stop responding, and actually your sound will not be played again. But in Soundpool it is not, because our application has very low small files, that is this one, and it is very small. Small means these are very not too long. This is very short audio files, and it is suitable to play with this Soundpool. Yes, you can play it with Mediaplayer as well, but Mediaplayer creates complexity, and we need to actually prepare the listener, means prepare the Mediaplayer, then we need to unload the Mediaplayer, then again we need to play Mediaplayer, so it will become difficult to manage. Also, if you are tapping so fast on the buttons, then it will stop responding, means it will stop playing the audio. Whereas in Soundpool, if you tap too quickly on these two buttons, then it will remains and it will play sound, and it is also suitable for playing shorter audio files. So when I just implement the whole practical, then you will came to know about it. Simply again click on this test.java file, and here what you need to do, you need to implement the OnclickListener. So just click on it after the end of compact activity and type implements and capital view dot OnclickListener. Then you need to click on this red bulb icon to override the methods, that is onClick, and onClick is override. Then you need to set the listener to all the buttons. So I'm going to do that by typing bt1 dot set OnclickListener, and again I'm specifying this. Again at the end of this line of code, I'm going to press Ctrl D 3 times. Then here I'm going to change it to bt2, bt3, bt4. Now here I'm going to specify switch case statement. I'm going to switch, and I'm going to type view. There is a small v dot get id, and then I'm starting a code block. Then here I'm going to specify the first case, that is case, and the case should be r dot id dot button. If it is a case, I'm going to play a sound that is played with the use of Mediaplayer. id dot button 2 is id dot button 2. And again I'm going to type break. And again I will define the first all the cases, then I will put the code between the case and the break statement. And case, and again I need to specify r.id dot, and the button is, this is button 3. And again I need a break, and again I'm going to specify case r.id dot, that is button 4. Again I'm going to specify break. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to first create a Mediaplayer variable. Then with these two buttons, that is this one, I'm going to play a sound with the use of Mediaplayer API. And with these two buttons, that is, first I will close this main.xml. These two buttons, that is this one, I'm going to play this sound with the use of Soundpool API. So let's do it. So first I'm going to create a variable for Mediaplayer, that is Mediaplayer, and I'm going to specify it with the OB. So that will give some more illustration, means more meaning that it is an object of Mediaplayer class. Then we need to do what? We need to actually create a Mediaplayer. So we can create a Mediaplayer inside of the onCreate as well, or we can directly create it here. So I'm going to create directly here a Mediaplayer object, means I'm going to create the Mediaplayer again. I have created the Mediaplayer object, but it's time to initialize the Mediaplayer object to some raw files. The raw files are, which is our audio files. So I'm going to type media, the raw be equal to, I'm going to again type Mediaplayer dot create, and here need to specify the context. So I'm going to type get application context, and just simply press a comma, and I'm going to specify the directory where my audio file is stored. So this is stored in the raw directory. So raw directory, and I'm going to specify C3, the first node that I want to play. I don't want to play the entire node, just for the demonstration purpose I'm using only the single node. Then again I'm going to copy this code, and then I'm going to specify here, just making it, and then here to specify C3 black, just the another, so that we can make a difference that we are playing two different nodes. So now it's time to start the Mediaplayer. So I'm going to type Mediaplayer dot start, hit tab, and again I'm going to copy this code, Ctrl V. So that's all about the coding. Now by default, if you try to run the application, you will start from the main activity. So we need a mechanism so that we can switch from main activity to this touch screen activity. Means I want to say, by default when you launch the activity, you will actually launch the main activity, because in manifest file you have specified the main activity as your launch activity, and the second activity is your test activity. So we need a mechanism. We can change it here directly to test activity, and here we need to specify main activity to launch our test activity first. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use another approach. So I'm going to simply switch back to main activity again. So I'm going to here specify one method that will automatically take us to the test activity. So I'm going to type void, and go to, not get to, go to test activity. Simply close the braces and opening and closing block of the. Now it's time to specify the intent. So I'm going to type intent, and again the object of intent equals to new intent tab, and this is our main activity. So I need to specify the context here, from where this is main activity dot this, and again from where I want to go. So I'm going to want to go to test activity. So text dot class, then it's a semicolon. Then we need to start the intent. And we need to start the intent means we need to start activity. So here is our start activity. So we need tab, and we need to pass the intent as an object to this method. Then we need to call this method. Simply copy the code, and at the top of the onCreate where we have initialized our scroll view, I'm going to call this method at here. So whenever this method is called, it will take us to the test activity. Because when activity is in creation phase, it will automatically redirect us to test activity. So it's time to run the application to see whether we have done a right code or wrong. But before running, I'm going to click on this activity test.main.xml file, and I'm going to just simply drag these buttons little bit below. And then again I'm going to drag this button here, and again I'm just click on the Soundpool label, that is text view, and again just simply dragging this one to the top of the media player, and this one here. Now I'm going to make it into landscape mode. Now you can see that the buttons are actually misplaced and the layout is also. So I'm again going to do it in a media player top, and the button that the media player uses is this one. So this button will become to here, and the another button, that is button 2, which is used by media player, will be here. Then Soundpool need to drag there. So you can see that I have changed it to landscape mode, and the layout is misplaced, and I arrange the layout again, means the views that are actually drawn on the screen, I arrange them according to their properties. So now it's look good. So it's time to run the application to see whether we are able to play the sounds by using media player or not when we tap these two buttons. So again I'm going to cross check that this is a button 2 and this is button that has no ID, that is definitely a button 1, but here is the ID is button. So I'm going to run this application in a virtual emulator that running a API 27 and having an Android version 8.1.0. So simply hit OK. So you can see that our application is up and running. So when I click on this button, so you can see that the nodes are playing. So when I click on continuously to this one, now you can see that now the sound is gone. I'm clicking on it again, but now you can see that the media player stopped playing the music. So if I switch back to logcat and again I change it to error, not warning, error, so you can see that it shows us an error. Then the error name is actually media player error, you can see here. So that's the problem with the media player. If you try to do that, then it will not play the music. In our piano application, the user will click on the button too fastly, means you will click on the button fastly when the user is trying to compose a music, or maybe liking the application is just simply touching more quickly, means touching the button more quickly. If the sound stop on that time, then it will actually reduces the popularity of the application, and also that's a bug. So it's time to fix that bug by using Soundpool. So minimize it and again switch back to test.java. So I'm going to close the MainActivity.java file and this Android manifest file also, and style.xml file also. Then again I'm going to click on this test.java file, and here we need to declare a first variable of Soundpool class. So I'm going to type here Soundpool, it is Soundpool, an object of Soundpool. I'm going to prefix it with post. I'm just going to add ob at the end of this Soundpool variable name and hit a semicolon. And instead of the onCreate, you need to initialize the Soundpool variable to the, you need to build the Soundpool. So again I'm typing Soundpool ob equals to new, that is a new operator that is used to allocate the memory to the object of the classes. So I'm going to use sound nodes. So I'm going to type here again Soundpool. So here with the use of Soundpool, I am going to use .builder because Soundpool is actually deprecated. Now again I am going to type it here .new set audio set max streams, and I am going to set the max streams as 6. And again I am going to tap enter, and again I am going to search, and I need to click on this last max, that is build. Now our Soundpool is build. Now we need to some variables, integer variables that actually holds our raw folder files. So I'm going to create new int. I'm going to name it as c3, c3 black. That is our playing note name. I'm going to initialize Soundpool ob dot load, and then we need to specify the context, that is this. Then I need to specify the directory where our audio files are stored. So it is stored in our raw directory, that is raw dot, then the name of the file you want to play, that is c3. Then simply hit OK, and the priority should be I am giving to 1. Then again I am going to duplicate the code by pressing Ctrl D, and here I am going to specify as C3 black, and again I am going to specify here C3 black BL. I am hitting a tab key. Now it's time to use this code inside of these buttons. When we press this button 3 and button 4, then we need to play a sound. Now here we need to specify the object of Soundpool, soundpool.play. Then you need to specify the ID, means the variable that holds the raw file. So simply hit C3, that C3 variable holds the raw file, the audio file that we want to play when we click on the button. Then left volume I am going to specify 1, then again comma, the right volume I am going to specify 1, then again comma. Now the priority I am going to specify 0, and again I am going to specify the loop here. The loop should be 0 because we don't want to play it again. Then the float rate I am going to specify 1. Then at the end I am going to specify semicolon. Then simply copy this code and paste it just here. Then change this C3 to C3 black and hit a tab key. So yeah, we are pretty much done with the coding. So it's time to run the application to see it in action. So just hit on this play button, means the run button, and just simply click OK. So you can see that our application is up and running. Now I'm going to click on this button to play a sound. So you can see that when I click on this button quickly, no matter how much I quickly tap on this button, it doesn't lose the sound. So that's why I use a Soundpool in my piano application, because user quickly taps on the button, and when user taps on the button, we continuously listen to the user input and play a required piano note. But in case of Mediaplayer, we have seen that the player stopped responding and stopped playing the note. Whereas Soundpool, it is better and it's easy and it's convenient for shorter files. That's why I use Soundpool in my piano application. Now I'm going to run this application in my physical device. So I'm just going to click on this run button and selecting my physical device that running API level 25 and having a Nougat version 7.1.2. Simply hit OK, and you can see that the Gradle build is starting. That's my physical device. You can see that it's up and running. So when I click on these two buttons, you can hear the sound. When I click on Mediaplayer, you can still hear the sound, but when I keep clicking, now you can see that the Mediaplayer is stopped responding and not playing the audio. So just close the application. And first we need to kill the application because Mediaplayer destroyed the all audio system of the application. Again try to launch the application, and again if I try to click on the Soundpool, then you can see that the sound is playing. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture we will add the code to play a piano note when we click on the button by using Soundpool. So let's start this lecture. Opening your Android Studio. So switch back to Android Studio, and here first go to the at the top. So first I need to close the test Java file and this activity test.xml because we don't want it anymore. So I'm going to switch back to MainActivity, and here I'm going to just delete this go to test activity code and just simply expand this window to get a more wide area to work. Then scroll to the top, and here you need to define some variable. The first is you type private. The first variable is of Soundpool. You need to create a variable for the Soundpool and just semicolon. Then you need to create some private integer variables that holds your raw files, the audio files. So simply type int, not capital int, it's simply integer, and then you need to type C3 that will hold the raw file C3. Then type C3 black, then type D3, comma D3 black, then type E3, maybe it's E3, I'm going to see it in a, yes, it's E3 F3 G3. Then type E3 and comma, because E3 doesn't have a black key, so you need to type F3 and comma F3 black and F3 black. Then you need to type G3 comma, then type G3 black, and again comma, then you need to type A3 and comma, then A3 black. Then at the last you need B3 because B3 doesn't have a black key. So you need to initialize all these integer variables to the raw files, corresponding raw files that I have already named it as same C3A3, just like you have found it here C3 and C3 black.ogg. So we need to initialize this C3 file to this variable. So later on we will pass this file to the Soundpool. Then the Soundpool will play the audio file when we tap on the piano key. So the simple logic and easy to implement. So let's go to the onCreate method. So here I am going to initialize all the variables. So first I am going to type the code for building the Soundpool. Because inside of the onCreate is the best place to initialize all the variables. Simply I am going to here give one comment, code for the Soundpool. Now type Soundpool equals to new operator and capital Soundpool, and instead of Soundpool you need to here type dot builder. Then again you need to go to next line, then type dot set max streams, and I'm going to pass 6. And again I'm going to press dot, just indenting it properly, and I will be using a, not this type, I'm going to using a build and semicolon. So that makes the Soundpool creation code. Now it's time to initialize all the variables that we have created, integer type of variables. So first I will going to initialize C3 equals to, then I'm going to call the Soundpool object, that is Soundpool dot load. This method is used to load the file. Then we need to pass a context, that is this, and the directory path where the file is stored. So it is stored in raw directory that holds all our sound file. Simply hit tab and dot the name of the file you want to play. So I am going to play a C3 file, and after that you need to specify the priority. So I am going to give it the priority as 1. So again I am going to just simply control pressing do and just simply duplicate this code many times. Then I am going to simply change the file. So here is C3 black, and here is there is black. I need to press a tab. There is D3, then here is D3 black, and after that there is E3 maybe, or whatever has D3 black, then there is E3, then there is F3, and there is here we need to specify E3, and also we need to change it here E3. No, it's a D3, sorry, it's a D3 black, then here is D3, then here is C3 black, then here is, there is no E33, there is E3 only, and here we need to specify E3, here is F3, and then again I need to specify here is F3, then F3 black, and here is also F3 black, not F3 double black, and after that we have G3, then we have G3 black, and here we have also G3 black, then after that we have A3, and we have also A3 black, then I also have here A3 black, and apart from that we have A3, not A33, and the last one is B3, and here is also we have B3. Now similarly you need to initialize all the other variables as well that we have created. It means you need to create another set. First you need to declare the another set that is from C4 to B4. Then after that, inside the onCreate method, you need to again initialize all the raw files to their corresponding variable name. Now it's time to go inside the onClick method and type the sound play code. So this is our one. Now we don't want this go to test activity method more. Simply I'm going to delete it and just I'm going to switch it again. Now I'm going to use a switch case statement inside the to play a node according to the ID of the button. So v.getID. Then I'm starting the code block. Then I will be write a first statement, that is case. If it is a case of r.id. That is tc3, means the text label 3, and also the case, and also if it is a case of r.id. the first button, that is p1. If you remember the ID of the p1, the first button is p1. Here you can see that if it is the case, if the label is first, ID of the label is tc3 and the ID of the button is p1. So if it is a case, then I am going to play a sound. The first I will write the break statement. Then inside of this break I am going to call a method with the use of Soundpool object, that is soundplay.play. Now inside of this I need to specify the sound ID, means the variable that holds the raw file, that is c3, comma, I need to specify the left volume, that is 1, then right volume, that is 1, then again I need to specify the priority, that is 0, and I am going to specify the loop as 0 because we don't want to play it again. Then the float rate I am going to specify as 1, and at the end I will specify a semicolon. Similarly, you need to also write the code for the button b1. So I am going to type, if it is a case of case r.id.b1, then I want to play a sound. First I will write a break, then I want to play a sound, soundpool.play. Then here I need to specify a c3 black because it holds a sound file of c3 black. Then again left volume 1, right volume 1, then priority 0, and the loop 0, and the rate is of 1, then at the end semicolon. So right now I have specified the code for just the 2 buttons. So similarly you need to specify the button code for the other 2 as well. So I'm going to do it quickly, then I will be continuing the video again. So finally I did the first set of the coding. Now here you need to take care, while the first case is for the first button that is of ID P1 and the second one is for the black key that ID has B1. Then the another, this is for D3, then the black key 2 which is also for D3 black. Then you need to take care that there is E3, there is no black key. Then you need to copy the code for F3, then F3 black, then G3, then G3 black, then A3, then A3 black, then B3. So similarly you need to do the coding for all of the buttons and all of the text view. The approach is very simple and easy to similar. So I'm going to do it quickly for you so that you don't need to watch the entire video which is based on the repetitive task. But before I do the coding process, I want to run this application to check whether I'm able to play the audio files by clicking on the button or not. So I'm going to run the application on my physical device because for somehow in virtual emulator I'm not able to hear the sound, and hit OK. So you can see that my application is up and running. If I click on the buttons, then you can say that the notes are playing. Now from C3 to B3, I am able to successfully play the notes. Now similarly, you need to code all the buttons. So the approach is repetitive, so I am going to do it quickly. So then I will be continuing the video. So finally I had done all the coding of the piano application buttons. I completed all the sets. First I created all the variables. At the top of the, I'm going to show you. So at the top you can see that I have created all the variables set. I created in just a linear way so that it will make easy for me to just simply change from C3 to C4, then C5. Then inside onCreate I initialize all the variables to hold raw files, that is actually used to play the audio files, that is loaded with the use of Soundpool object and with the use of load method. Then we pass the context and then directory where our file is stored, and then priority I set to 1. Then inside the onClick I have used a very simple logic, just getting the IDs of the view, and then according to the ID, that is this label indicates that the correct ID, that is C3, then matching the ID, that is C3 to C4 and F4 to F4, and this will make easy to does the code. And yeah, I did all the coding, so it's time to run this application. So I'm going to run this application on my physical device. So you can see that our application is up and running. Now I'm going to tap on the buttons, so you can see that the audio So our application is running fine. So in our upcoming videos, we will be adding more functionality to our application. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture, I am going to add more functionality to our piano application. But before that, you need to download this piano app assets file, that is a RAR file. So when you extract it, you will get this folder. So inside of this folder, you have some more files that are graphical assets. So I'm going to use these graphical assets inside the piano application. This is, now let me first zoom it. So you can see that there are 5 files. The first one is a left navigation button and this one is a right navigation button. So these are basically used to control the navigation of the horizontal scroll view, means the scroll amount. I'm going to add the code to control the scroll amount of the horizontal view when we click on this button or this button. Then there is a play button which is used to play the recordings, and also the record button which is used to record the piano key node. And this is our logo that we are going to place at the mid of the piano layout. Not at the mid, just the empty area. Here we are going to place the piano logo. So right now in previous lecture, I am able to successfully implement the basic functionality of the piano. So when we click on this piano node, you will able to hear the musical note, that is piano note. And I also run this application on my physical device to show you that it's working on both physical device as well as on virtual emulator. So first we need to copy these whole files into our drawable directory. Now these files are called drawable because Android framework actually draws it onto the screen. And one thing you also notice, here all the namings of the files are in a small letters. If you try to add the capital letters, then Android Studio will give you an error and your application will not be run. So if you want to learn more about the naming of the file, that why in Android we need to always type the name of the application or whatever the actually we are going to use the assets or drawable resources file or all the file that I am just placed inside the directory of the piano, that you can see that here all files are written in small letters. So why these are written in small letters? So you can learn this in the official documentation of the Android developer website. So I'm going to copy this all by selecting them, copy, then I'm going to place, means paste inside my this driver directory under the rest directory. So I'm simply clicking on this, right click, and I'm going to paste it. Then a dialog box will pop up, so you need to paste in app src main res drawable directory, not in drawable v4, which is v24. You don't need to paste in this directory, you need to paste in drawable directory. So simply hit OK. Then a message will pop up to copy specified files to directory. Then simply hit OK. Then it will copy the whole file. So you can see that this is our piano file, which is a logo. This is our play button, and this is our record button, and this is our right navigation button, and our left navigation button is this. So right now I'm going to close all these. So I'm going to refactor this test activity. So simply click on refactor and just click on rename. So here I'm going to specify the another name, that is playing. No, this is the activity name. So I'm going to use playing. Just simply hit OK. Also I'm going to change the layout name as well. So I'm going to refactor it and rename. In activity, I'm going to use playing. Then say play, press enter, and it will refactor the activity file. So in next lecture, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place 4 buttons. Let me first switch back into landscape mode. So I'm going to place 4 buttons. That is a left navigation button, then there is a record button, then there is a label in between, and then there is a play button, and then I'm going to place a right navigation button. So in next lecture I'm going to do that. So that's all about this lecture. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to add some buttons to our piano app screen. So switch back to your Android Studio. Then after the end of this horizontal scroll view, I'm going to place a one relative layout. So I'm simply typing relative layout. Then I'm specifying the width as match parent and height as wrap content. Inside this relative layout, I'm going to add some buttons. So I'm typing a button. Then I'm specifying the height of the button, means the width of the button as wrap content, and the height of the button as 80 dp. Then I'm going to specify the ID of the button, that is ID, and the ID should be BT, left navigation. Then after that, I'm going to specify some more properties, that is layout align. So I'm going to have layout align parent top, that is this one, and I'm going to specify it to true. Then I'm going to specify another layout property, that is layout align parent start. So where is layout align parent start? So this is one. Specifying the enter, and again I'm going to specify it to true. Then there is a margin. I'm going to specify margin start is of 10 dp. Then after that I'm going to specify the background, that is background, and the drawable of the background is left navigation button. So you can see that our drawable is now displaying. You can see that there is lot more spaces left. So I'm going to do what? I'm just simply scroll to the top, and from there I'm going to specify a margin inside the horizontal scroll view, margin top, and I'm going to specify 10 dp. So I'm going to specify 30 dp. So you can see that. So this will give a little more room to the top of the screen. Then again I'm going to specify another button. So I'm going to type button, and the width of the button should be match parent, and the height I'm going to specify 80 dp. Then I'm going to specify the ID, and it should be the BT record. Then I'm going to specify more align properties, and the first property is align parent, that is layout align parent start. So I'm going to try layout align parent start to true. After that, I'm going to specify layout align parent top, the same property. So I'm just simply going to copy this one. This should be also true. And after that, layout margin start, and I'm going to specify the margin as 112 dp. I mistaken, so it's taking the whole space. This is because I specified the width as match parent, so I need to specify it here wrap content. Then I'm going to specify the background. So the background of this is background, and this is a record. So this is our record play button background. Now I'm going to specify the image view inside the linear layout. So I'm going to type a linear layout, just by opening a tag linear layout. So the width of the linear layout should be match parent and the height of wrap content. And I'm going to specify the gravity as gravity center. Inside the orientation, I'm going to specify vertical. Inside of this, I'm going to specify a image view. It's image view, and the width of the image view is around 150 dp, and the height of the image view I'm going to specify 100 dp. Then I'm going to specify the ID. So ID I'm going to specify image view. Then there is a src attribute of the image view. So I'm going to specify src. So src is our piano. So that's our label of our piano. Then after the end of the linear layout, I'm going to specify another button. So simply type button. Then the width of the button should be wrap content, and the height I'm going to specify 80 dp. Then I'm going to specify the ID to the button. So ID that is of bt play. That is bt play underscore recording. Then I'm going to specify align parent end. So this is our align parent end, and I'm going to specify true. Then align parent top. Then I'm going to specify another property, that is align parent top. And I'm also going to specify it to true. Then the layout margin end. Layout margin so this is our layout margin end, and I'm going to specify the layout margin end 111 dp. Then I'm going to specify the background property, that is background, and this is our play button. So I'm going to type play. So this is our play button, so I'm going to type play. So that's it. So this is our play button now displaying. Then our last button, that is button 4 for the right navigation of the piano keys, that control the scrolling amount of the horizontal scroll view. So I'm going to specify another button, the width as wrap content, and the height I'm going to specify 80 dp. Then I'm going to specify the ID again, ID, and the ID should be right. Then I'm going to specify and the ID should be bt right navigation. Then I'm going to specify the line parent top. Line parent top, and the top is the true. Then I'm going to specify margin start. In the margin start photo I'm going to specify minus 102 dp. Then after that I'm going to specify the layout to and off property, and I'm going to specify it here the ID, and the ID is of pt play recording. Then after that I'm going to specify the background, and it's our bt, and it's our right navigation. So that's, you can see that now our layout is completed and it's look nice. So we have added 4 buttons and 1 label to our piano layout screen. So in next lecture I'm going to connect all these buttons to our MainActivity file. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. So welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture we are going to connect our buttons to our MainActivity. So let's start this lecture by switch back to your Android Studio. So in previous lecture we have specified all the buttons, that is left navigation button, record button, play button, and a right navigation button. So in this lecture I am going to add these buttons, means connecting this button with the ID to our main activity. Now I'm going to click on this record button, that is this one. Inside of this I'm going to specify the onClick event, that is record. And again inside of the play button, that is this one, I'm going to also specify the onClick event and I'm going to specify the play. Then you need to click on this red bulb icon and create a play view in MainActivity. Just click on the second option. So what does, it will create a method inside the MainActivity for you. Simply just again click on this activity main.xml and just go to the record button, this one. Again just click on it, a red bulb will appear, just click on it and just again select the second option. Then it will create a record method for you. Then again go switch back to MainActivity, then go to the top of the MainActivity. Just from here you need to specify some variables. So I'm going to type button, that is left navigation, then comma, then right navigation, then again hit comma and type record button, which is used for the recording, and hit comma and type a play button, then semicolon. Also prefix the private at the front of this. Now then we need to initialize all these buttons inside our onCreate method. So just scroll down to the onCreate method. So you need to initialize all the buttons. So first left navigation, just hit a tab, typecast it into the tab, then typecast into button, then find view by ID and hit r.id. That is left bt left navigation, semicolon, then again type right navigation and typecast into button, so that we in a safer side don't get any error while try to run the application, then r.id. then bt right navigation and hit semicolon. Then there's a record button, it's a record button, then again need to specify button and find by ID and r.id. and then we need to specify bt record. Then there is the last button, which is the fourth button, our play button, equals to, we need to specify button, then find by ID and r.id. bt play recording, then hit a semicolon. Now it's time to set the listener to this button, that is left navigation and right navigation. So I'm going to set the listener to these both buttons. So what I'm going to do, I'm just simply type left navigation dot set OnclickListener new view dot OnclickListener. And again I'm going to specify the listener to the right navigation button as well. Right navigation set OnclickListener, that is new. Again I'm going to capital V view OnclickListener. Inside this we need to write the code to control the scroll property of the horizontal scroll view. So the ID of our scroll view means the variable name of our scroll view is scroll view. So here we have initialized our scroll view. Now it's time to use the scroll view inside this left navigation set OnclickListener method. So I'm going to type scroll view dot scroll to, and here I'm going to typecast into int, and then I'm going to type scroll view dot get scroll x, and I'm going to subtract it with 30, which is minus 30. Then again I'm going to specify a comma, and here I'm going to again typecast into int. Then again need to type a scroll view, that is second one, dot, then get scroll x, tab on it. That's it for the left navigation code. Now it's time to write the right navigation code as well. So again I'm going to type scroll view, that is the second one, dot scroll to, and here into typecast into int, just between the braces, that is int. And again inside of this I need to specify scroll view dot get scroll x, that is this one, and I need to specify plus 30. For left scrolling it is minus 8 with 30, and for right scrolling, we need to add 30 to the scroll. Then again I'm going to specify int for the typecasting, and then scroll view, the second one, dot get scroll y. So that marks the completion of our code for controlling the scroll property of our horizontal scroll view. Now if we change this value, that is minus 30 to minus 50 or 60, and this 30 to 60 or 70, then your scroll will move more faster. So now it's time to run this application to see the code in action. So here you can see that our application is up and running. So when I click on this right navigation button, so you can see that our scroll is moving. And now if I click on this left navigation, so you can see that now we are controlling the horizontal scroll view through these buttons. So if I click on more quickly, you can see that now if I change the values to like 60, and again I'm going to change this value to minus 60, then now let's see what will happen. So simply I'm again trying to run the application. Here you can see that our application is again up and running. So when I click on this right navigation button, now it's moved more faster than the previous one. And again I'm going to click on this left navigation button. So you can see that it moves more faster. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I am going to add the recording functionality to our piano application. But before that, we need to check for the runtime permission, because in our piano application we need two permissions. The first permission is the write external storage permission, and the second one is the record audio permission. Now record audio permission is used to record the audio of the device, and once we record the audio, then we want to store it into the internal storage of the Android system. So for that we need a write external storage permission. And we need to check for the runtime permission, because since API 23, the coding process of the permission is changed, because you no longer need to install the permission while you are installing the application. So Google had made some changes. So for that we need to check for the runtime permission. So in this lecture I am going to implement the code that will check for the runtime permission, and this code that I am going to teach you in this lecture will be your feature reference, means you can use it in your feature application as well, because you just need to change the permissions. And if you want to check more than 5 to 6 permission, or maybe 7, because there are some applications that requires more than 5 to 6 permission, so you can do it with this code very easily, because this code is a one template that I will be using in my all application. So I'm going to teach you in a very proper way so that you don't get confused, because this topic is very confusing and doesn't have very too much content available on the internet as well. So let's start this lecture by switch back to our Android Studio. So first I'm going to click on this app directory, that is I'm going to new, and from there I'm going to create a new empty activity, and I'm going to name this activity as splash, and simply hit finish and wait for the Gradle to sync the project. So you can see that our splash activity is created. So in our manifest file we want to make some changes. So I want this splash activity to run before this main activity. So I'm going to just make changes. So here I'm going to specify the splash activity, and from the splash activity I'm going to specify main activity. Then I'm going to change the orientation. So I also need these two properties inside of my both activities, that is main activity in which our piano layout is there, and also in my playing activity that we are going to code in our upcoming lectures. Then at the top of just make some room, and here I'm going to type a code for the permissions. So I'm going to type use this permission, and that permission is write external storage. So we want this permission. Also we want a second permission, that is record audio. Then self-close the tag by pressing /. Now open your splash.java file by double click on it, and from there you need to create some variables. So the first I'm going to create some constant, that is private static final integer and I'm going to name it as permission constant equal to 100. And again I'm going to specify another private constant of static type, static final integer request permission code, request permission not code, request permission setting. Then initialize it with 101 and hit a semicolon at the end. Now I'm going to create a string array of permissions, string and array braces, and I will name my array as permissions required. Initialize it to new string and then hit a semicolon at the end, and I'm going to type manifest dot permission dot, then you need to type your name of the permission, that is write external storage, hit a tab, and if I want a second one as well, so I'm going to type again manifest dot permission dot record audio. So these are the two permissions that we want to check at runtime. Now again I'm going to create two more variables, that is the private shared preference. So this is our shared preference, hit a tab, and I'm going to name it as permission status. Permissions status, and hit a semicolon. Again I'm going to create another variable of bool type, not protected. I want it a bool type, and again I'm going to create another variable of bool type, that is boolean, and it is a sent to settings is equal to, and I'm going to initialize it to false. Now this variable is used to redirect the user to the settings screen, so from that user need to allow the permission manually from the settings of the application. Then after that, inside the onCreate, the actual code start. Inside the onCreate, I'm going to initialize the permission status. Then I'm going to type get shared preference. Then here I need to specify the name. So the name is permission status. Then the mode, which is private. So I'm going to type mode private, and at the end I hit a semicolon. Then I need to check for the self permission. So for that, just simply click on this project as, so that will provide a more wide area to work. Then after the initializing the shared preference, we need to check for the permission. So for that, we need to use if statement. So I'm typing if, then again I'm going to specify activity compact dot check self permission. So here we need to pass the context. So I'm going to pass the context as splash dot this. So this is our context of our activity. Then here we need to specify the permission, that is our array name, that is permission required, and here I need to specify the 0, which is the first permission that we want to check. Then after that, I need to specify the not equal to package manager, that is package manager dot permission granted. And from there I will provide another permission, because we want to check two permission. Then I am using an OR operator, and here I need to specify activity compact again. This activity compact, then check self permission. Then again I need to specify the context. So this is a splash dot this, then a comma. Then there is another, I need to specify the array name, that is permission required, and here I need to specify the entry as 1, which is our second permission, that is at array index 1. Then from there I need to check for the permission And from there I need to check for the another is not equal to package manager dot permission granted. And from there I need to specify another if block, and here I need to check for the another method that is should show request permission. Now this OR operator will work on two operands. So this is our first operand and this is our second operand. If either of one is true, then this if block will be executed. Then we need to check for the another condition. So I am going to use another if, and instead of this if, again I am going to type activity compact dot should. This is a should show request permission rational method, that is a boolean method. So I am going to use this one, and instead of this I need to again specify the context. So I am going to type splash. So I am going to specify the context as splash dot this. Then again I specify the comma, and here I need to specify the permission required array variable along with the array index, that is 0. Again I need to specify another OR operator. So here I am going to type another OR operator, and again I am going to specify activity compact dot should request, and here I am to specify this again context splash dot this. After specifying the context, I need to specify the permission required, which is our array name, along with the array index, that is 1. So now we need to create an alert dialog to give some information about the user why these permissions are required. So I'm going to use alert dialog dot builder. Again I'm going to type builder equals to new alert dialog builder, and here I'm going to specify the context, that is splash dot this, and I'm going to hit a semicolon. Then I'm going to use the builder dot set title. So I'm going to specify the title as need multiple permission. Then I'm going to specify a semicolon. Again I'm going to type builder dot set message. So this is a set message. So inside of this I'm going to specify the message and hit a semicolon. And again I'm going to specify another builder set positive button. Then we need to build a builder dot set positive button, that is grant, means we want to grant the permission. Then the second argument I am going to specify is new dialog interface. So inside of this onClick I am going to specify a method activity compact dot request permission. And I am going to first hit a semicolon so that we don't want to see the red line. And again I am going to type activity compact dot request permission, and here need to specify the context, that is splash dot this. And after that I need to specify the permission required array, that is our array name, that is permission required, and then I need to specify the permission constant, that is this one. After that I need to build the negative button as well, because user may not want to give the permission. So I am going to again type builder dot set negative button, which is specify the message as cancel, and again I am going to specify the second argument as new dialog interface. Inside of this onClick method, first I am going to specify the semicolon. Inside of this method I am going to specify the dialog dot cancel. After that I want to show the other dialog by calling builder dot show method. Then I need to specify the else if condition. Then I need to specify the else if condition for our, so this is our self check permission, and this is our on create, and this is our if statement for our. So right now we have one more extra. So this is our activity ends. Here our activity ends. I'm just trying to comment because it gets lots of confusion at the end. Ends our activity. And from there, this is the end of our onCreate method. Now this is our first if, that is check self permission, and this is our rationale, means should show request permission rationale. So after that we need to specify the else if condition. So else if, and from there if the permission status is dot get boolean, the permission status dot get boolean is equal to permission required, and specify the array which is with array index is equal to 0, and the second argument is false. Then we want to do something. Instead of this else if block, we will write the code to take the user to the setting screens, because previously user if not specify the, means not allow the permission, then this code will be executed. So let's start the coding. So again I'm going to start the alert dialog dot builder equal to, this is builder, and again equals to new dot alert dialog builder, and hit a semicolon, and here I need to specify the context. So the context is splash dot this. After that again I'm going to call the builder dot set title. So the title is, then I'm going to copy the title which is the same as this, and also the message is also same. So I'm going to copy the both lines, and just I'm going to replace it with this one. So this is our, we need to set the positive button. So the positive button, I'm going to copy the code of the positive button. From there, copy it, and here I'm going to paste it. This I'm going to simply remove this one because we don't want to, that code. Instead, I'm going to set the positive button, and I'm going to here call dialog dot cancel, because we want to cancel the dialog. Now then we will use a send to settings variable, and we will set this bool variable to true. After that we will be using an intent is equal to new intent, and then we will be starting, and we will be using a settings, that is settings provider dot action application. So I'm going to type action application details settings. So this is the first one that we need. Then hit a semicolon, and then we need to use URI, that is again called a variable called URI equals to URI dot format parts, the second one we want, and here we need to specify the package name. So the key I'm going to schema should be the package. So I'm going to type package, then we want the package name, so I'm going to call the method get package name. Then the second argument I'm going to specify the null, because we are not using a fragment. Then hit a semicolon at the end. Then with the use of intent object, I'm calling a method set data, and instead of set data I'm passing the URI as an argument. Then hit a semicolon. Then we need to use a method called start activity result. Start activity for result. And here I need to specify the intent as a first object. Then I need to specify the constant, that is request permission setting. So that marks the coding of our else if statement. Then we need to call the outside of this builder class, we need to call the code, that is builder dot set negative button, because user may not want to give the permission as well. So I'm going to type cancel, and again I'm going to specify the second argument as new dialog interface, and here I need to cancel the dialog by simply calling dialog dot cancel. Then here I need to specify the semicolon so that we don't want to see the red line. After that, we need to call, means we want to show the dialog by calling builder.show method. Then it's time to use the else statement. I'm calling the else, and inside of the else I'm going to specify activity request permission. So here I'm going to request the permission by calling. Now inside of this else statement I'm going to request the permission by calling request permission method. So I'm going to again type activity app compact dot request permission, and here I need to specify the contact, that is splash dot this, and again hit a comma, and I'm going to specify the array name, that is permission required, and I'm going to specify the constant, that is permission constant. So that's it for the else part. Now after that we need to specify the check self permission if condition. So this is our outer if, and I'm going to specify the else for them. Means this else is for our this outer if. So again I'm going to write here, now if the permission is already granted, then this else block will be executed. So here we need to write a method that whatever we want to do. So do your code. So here we will write the code that will take us to the piano activity. So first I will write a comment, do the normal code. So I'm going to create a method proceed after permission. So this method is not created yet, so I'm going to create it by using this red bulb icon. So here is our method is created, just the end of the onCreate method. So inside of this proceed after permission, I'm going to write first a toast statement that will show us a little message, we got all permission. Got all permission, not we. Got all permissions. Then I will be writing a code to take us. Then I will be writing a code by using the intent to take us to the main activity, that is our piano activity screen. Then new intent, and here I need to specify the context, that is this, comma, and our activity is our main activity, that is this one, main activity dot class. Then I need to specify the semicolon. Then I need to start activity. Here is our activity start. I need to pass the intent as an object, intent object as an argument. Then I need to specify the intent as an argument, which is our intent object. So that's all the coding of our proceed after permission. Now it's time to code our request permission method. So first we need to override the on request permission method. So I'm going to type on request. This is, and the method is this one. This is a retain custom method request permission result. So I'm going to hit a tab key. So we will get this method. Inside of this method, we need to check for the first request code. So I'm going to write first if request code is equals to permission constant, then we will create a bool variable, that is boolean, and I will create all granted equals to true. Then we are going to use a for loop, that is int I equals to 0 semicolon I smaller than grant results dot length. Then there is a semicolon and we will increment the I variable. Now this grant result variable is this one. Inside of this I am going to do a code. First I am going to check for the condition. If grant result with array index, that is I, is equal to our package manager dot permission granted, then we will put when the permission is granted, then inside of the if block, what I am going to do, I am just all granted variable to true. Then hit a semicolon inside of the else block, and after that I am going to specify else, and inside of the else I am going to set all granted variable equals to false. Then again after the end of the loop, that is this one, and to check for the condition, if all granted means if it's true, then proceed after operation method will be called, that is this one. If not, then we need to request for the permission, so that is else if. Here we need to specify another, again activity compact dot should request permission rational. The method will be used. Then we need to specify the context, that is flash dot this. And again I need to specify here a permission required array variable with array index. So again I have to specify permission required, then with array brackets, and I need to specify 0. Then again with the OR operator, inside of the OR operator I am going to again specify activity compact dot should rational, and here I need to specify again the slash, which is our context, dot this, and again I need to specify comma, and here I need to specify the array variable name, that is permission required, with the array index 1. So when this will be holds true, then inside of this we need to again create a alert dialog that will alert the user. So I'm going to call alert dialog dot builder, then builder is equal to new alert dialog builder, and here I need to specify content, that is this, then hit a semicolon. Then the positive and dialog buttons are same, so I have already write this code at the top of this one, so this will be the exact same code. So I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it just below this. So there is two array.builder code is there, so I'm going to remove this one. So once it's done, we need to show the builder, and after that we need to specify the else. So after that there is the else statement. So else, inside of else, now this will be executed when the user doesn't allow the permission, means user reject the permission from this block as well, and then again this block as well, and inside of this block as well. Then what we can do, we can create a toast message and indicate the user that application unable to get a permission, and again I'm going to duplicate the toast. The application will not work properly, so I'm going to here write app in the application will not. So that marks the completion of our code. I think we have done all the coding. Just only one method is left, that is onActivity_result. So I need to override the method onActivity_result. So first onActivity result, this is the method. Inside of this method we need to check for the request code. If request code, this is for those when we are actually redirecting the user to the settings of the application inside the Android system. So again I'm going to type request permission setting, if it is true, here I need to specify another. So once the request code is equal to request permission setting, then I need to specify another if. So I'm going to type activity compact dot check self permission method, and inside of check self permission method, first parameter is the context. So I'm going to type slash dot this. After that, there is a second parameter, that is permission required, that is the array, that is our array name. Permission required along with the array index value, that is 0. After that, I'm going to specify is equal to package manager dot permission granted. If it is granted, then we want to perform the normal operation by calling proceed after permission. So this is a normal operation. So that's all the coding of our runtime permission. So if you want to check more than 3 to 4 permission, that you simply need to add here, and just simply add the one more line with the OR operator there and with there, and just simply set the required message like this app needs storage and record audio permission. If you were making a camera application, then you can write a simply this app requires camera, storage, / media types of permission, and then simply changes with the there. Now what does code actually does? First I created a constant variables of static type. Then I created a string of permission required array. That is a array variable of permission required of string type that holds our permissions that we want to use in our file. Then there is a shared preference I created. Then there is a send to settings variable that will be used to redirect the user to the main settings screen of the application inside the Android system. Then inside of onCreate, I first initialize the shared preference with the mode private. Then I check for the check self permission. Then again I check for the section. See this method. Actually I'm making an alert dialog so that user will get to know about that why these permissions are necessary. Now if that code will not work, means the user actually ungrant the permission, means doesn't give the permission to the application, then this code block will be executed. Then from there user will be redirected to the settings screens. Then from there user need to give the permission manually, and after that if it is both were not true, then this will be executed. Now if all of the three conditions, and if the user actually gives the permission, then all the three conditions will not be executed. The control simply, this if block will not be executed, and the control will simply came to the this else block, and it will pursue the after normal operation. Similarly, inside of this we have actually requested the permission, means user actually doesn't give this permission, then we want to request for the permission. So this block will be executed. Then the control simply came to this on request permission, and from there this actually start requesting the permission by with this logic. If it is grant the permission, then it will set to the all granted to true. Otherwise, it will set the all granted to false. Then we will check the variable. If all granted, then we will perform the normal operation. Otherwise, we will check for the permission again and alerting the user why these permissions are necessary for the application to work properly. Then again, we are setting the negative button so that if the user don't want to give the permission, then the user can simply cancel it. Then if this block will execute it, and it's the final block that will tell the user unable to get permission and app will not work properly. So this message will indicate the user that user need to apply the permission. And this activity result will actually start the activity. It will be used for the code when the user will be redirected to the settings screen. So now this seems to be very difficult for you to understand, but you need to actually take care and just read this code again and again and just apply it, because you can't learn it from one time, because you need to spend at least 5 to 7 times. You need to read the code and understand each line one by one. I'm understanding this thing because I just did it 15 times, more than maybe 15 times, because I have created more than 50 to 60 applications and I use this code many times. So I just use this code as a template. Whenever I need to check for the runtime permission, I just simply made some changes here, and that's it, because every application needs 4 to 5 permission. depending upon the size and the strength of your application. Now it's time to run the application to see our code in action. So I'm going to run it into my virtual emulator. So you can see that our application is up and running. So if I click on this deny button and again, so now you can see that alert dialog will pop up. This app needs storage and record audio permission. So if I simply click on grant and again pop up a dialog with the checkbox of don't ask again. So if I click on this checkbox and click on deny and again with this record audio permission as well, click on deny. So the application will not work properly. So if I just simply close the application and again try to open the application, app will not work properly. And again I am going to install the application and again I am going to run the application. So at this point of time I am going to allow all the permission. Simply click allow and then clicking on allow. Got all permission and now you can see that our piano screen. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I am going to add the recording functionality to my piano application. So in previous lecture I already did the coding for checking the runtime permissions. Now those permissions are required for our application to work fully because from API level 23 you need to check for the runtime permissions. So if you are targeting API level 21 or below 21 or maybe 22, then you don't need to check for the runtime permissions. But I am targeting latest Android devices, that is Android Nougat, Oreo and Android P. So for that you need to check for the runtime permissions. So I already did the coding in the previous lecture. So in this lecture I am going to add the recording functionality. So when user actually press the piano key, then we want to record that audio, and later on if the user want to play it, then we want to add also playing functionality in our upcoming lectures. So let's start this lecture by switch back to your Android Studio. So here is the layout. So I'm going to click on this MainActivity.java file and I'm going to just scroll to the top of the file there. So here I'm going to write some variables. So first I'm going to write a comment, that is the code for the recording of the audio of piano keys. So first I'm going to create a media recorder. So I'm going to type private, hit a tab key and then media. That's a media recorder, so we want it, and then I'm going to create a variable of media recorder and I'm going to specify a semicolon. Then I'm going to create some public string variables that of type static. So I'm going to type public static and I'm going to use this sort of string type. So this is the second one and I'm going to name it it's a file name that will be used to store the audio files in the system, means the internal storage of the device. So I'm going to duplicate it into more times and I'm here going to specify 2, 3, 4 and then 5, then 6. So I'm going to move the last one. So this will be our 6. So I'm going to use 6 files. You can create as many as you want. If you want to record, I'm going to record 6 audio tracks and then later on I want, when 6 all completed, then from the first to, if the user try to record the 7th time, then the first one will be removed. So this is the basic logic. If you want to record 17, then you need to create 17 files, means the 17 variables. Then I'm going to create a boolean variable. So it's of type boolean and I'm going to type as mstart recording and I'm going to initialize it to true. Then I'm going to declare a one public integer variable, that is of public int, and that is of recording number. So that's all about the variables that we want for adding the recording functionality to our piano application. Then inside of the onCreate method, just right below here, I'm going to initialize the code of the piano keys. So I'm going to type here one command that is recording code for the piano keys. So remember to type m file name equals to get external cache dir. Then I'm going to type another method, that is get absolute path, then hit a semicolon. Then I'm going to type again m file name plus equal to, then I'm going to, in double quotes, I'm going to name it as audio recorder 1 dot, I'm going to record in a 3GP format, 3GP, then hit a semicolon. So I'm going to copy this code 5 more times, 1 and another time. Then I'm going to change it to 2, then this one is 3, not 4, 3, then this one should be 4, then this one is 5, this one is 6, this one is 5, this one is 6. So we don't want this because it's an extra, so I'm going to delete it. Then I'm going to create a shared preference equal to, so I'm going to create the object of pref, so I'm going to type it prefs, that's a pref for preference, that's a pref short for preference. Then I'm going to type get shared preferences, and here I'm going to specify the file number and comma, it should be of mode private, then hit a semicolon. Then I'm going to specify the recording number variable, means initialize into prefs dot get int, and I'm going to specify the file number comma 1, and I hit a semicolon. So that's all about the coding or initialization of the variable. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to fix some issues of our previous video. So switch back to an Android Studio. So here I have write a code audio record.3gp, but I need to specify a / at the front of this audio recorder, and also I need to write this test1.3gp. So that's a wrong code that I have implemented in the previous video, means I wrote in the previous video. So I need to delete this one, and this is the correct code. So we need to just make this same as all the other ones. So I have already did it, because in previous video I have did this code. Let me undo it first. So this is the old code that I have copied in all the files, that's file 3, file 4, but this is the right code, that is this one that I have commented. So I'm going to remove this one again. So you need to just make changes to your code. Just need to specify a / at the front of audio record, and also need to specify a test1 is installed, because when I try to run the application then it doesn't run. So in my another system I have experimented with the code, means I have wrote the same code that you are now seeing in front of your screen. This is the same code in my another system. I have wrote it and the application runs fine. But when I just recording the video on this system in which you are seeing the code, that it doesn't run because I have made some changes. I just removed this / and also this test1.text, and the application doesn't run. So when I just again fix it, means again just type the code that is same as the another system, then it run fine. So that's a quick fix of this lecture. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to start the actual coding of our adding record audio functionality to our piano application. So switch back to Android Studio, and here is our MainActivity.java file. So I'm going to scroll it to the below of the file, and here I'm going to create a one method, but before that I'm going to write a multi-line comment that will organize our code, so that when later on we want to modify, then we can modify it. The start recording method code is start recording method code. So I'm going to write this comment. So this will make me easy when later on if I want to make some modification to this project, so I can do it easily because of this commented, or you can say that this also for documentation purpose. So I'm going to create a private method, private void Then I'm going to specify the name of the method, that is start. Start recording, and I'm going to open and close the braces. Then I'm going to use a variable mRecorder, that is media recorder variable that we have created at the top of our file, that is this one. So I'm going to use this variable, that is media recorder equals to, and I'm going to initialize it to media recorder class, that is media recorder Android media. Let's simply hit a semicolon. Then after that I'm going to set the audio source. So I'm going to type set audio source. So this is our method. I'm going to set the audio source. So I'm going to type media recorder dot audio source. So this is the audio source, the second one we want, media source, audio source. After that we want a default audio source. Then again hit enter, and again I'm going to use media recorder dot set output format. The method that we are going to use is the output format. So this is our output format method. Simply hit a tab. Then instead of the output format, we need to type media recorder. Not this one. We need to use media recorder Android media dot output format. That's the output format dot, there is a 3 GPP. Then after that I'm going to use a switch statement. Then I will type switch, and inside the switch I'm going to specify the recording number, that is this one. I'm going to pass the recording number to this method. Then I'm going to use a case 1. Instead of case 1, first I will type a break. Instead of this case, I'm going to type media recorder dot set output file. So this is our set output file, and I'm going to name it here mfile name1 as an argument. Then I'm going to increment the record number to ++ by using post increment operator. Then after that, here I need to make a comparison. If recording number is equal to 7, then I need to do what? I need to reinitialize the recording number to 1, because I have only 6 tracks, because I want to play only 6 tracks. If you want to play more, then you can create it, because later on if there is 6 files were recorded, then again the recording number will get to 6, means the value of recording number will become 7. Then what I want to just reinitialize it to 1, so that it will start from the beginning again. And again I'm going to specify the case 2, which is second case. Then hit enter. Then again I'm going to type media recorder dot set output file, and here I need to specify the file name 2 as an argument. Then again I'm going to increment the recording number by using postfix operator. Here again I need to check for the condition. If recording number is equal to 7, then I need to initialize the recording number to 1. Simply hit semicolon. Then at the end I need to specify a break. So I'm going to copy this code again for 4 more times. Paste it. Now here I'm going to change it to case 3. This one is case 4. This one is case 5. And this one should be 6. Then here I need to check for the file 6. And here file 5, not 6, 5. Here I need to pass the file number 4, and I also need to pass the file number 3. The rest of the things are same. After that, after the end of the switch statement, and here I need to type shared preference dot editor. is create a variable of editor is equal to get shared preference. Get shared preferences. Then we need to specify the name, that is file number. Let me check it that it's the same as the top we have initialized. That is this one, so I'm going to copy it because I don't want to make any mistake, and just here paste it. It's almost same. Then I need to specify the mode private, that is this one. Then after the end of, I need to use edit and hit a semicolon. Then I need, with the use of editor variable editor dot put int, I'm going to specify the file number in small value. Then I need to pass the recording number. So this will, then after that I need to use editor dot commit. So what we are doing, we are actually passing the recording number to this editor. We are storing the recording number to our shared preference, because shared preferences are used to store the values in a key value form. Then I'm going to use the media recorder dot set audio source, and here I need to pass a media recorder dot audio encoder dot amr underscore nb. If you want to check out all these, you just need to go for the documentation. Then you will get more information about how these methods and what about these constants are, because that will be a very long process. Now if you want to know more about these things, you can actually go to the official documentation of the developer.sites of the Google. Then you can learn about all these constants. Here I'm going to use a try catch block because we are actually opening a file, so maybe we will get an IO exception. So I'm going to type media recorder dot prepare, and instead of this it's giving an error because we don't specify a catch block. So here I need to check for the code for IO exception, that is E, and here I just simply log the code, log.e, and I'm going to specify the string tag prepare is failed. Then I'm going to type a message failed. So this is a handy message. If there is any IO exception occur, then instead of the log cat, we will get the message so that we can try to fix the error. Then I'm going to start the media recorder by calling media recorder dot start method. So that's all about the coding of our start recording method. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to continue the code of our recording piano functionality application. So switch back to your Android Studio. So here in previous lecture I have coded the start recording method. So now it's time to start the coding of our stop recording method. So I'm going to type private void stop recording. Stop recording method, and instead of the stop recording I'm going to use a media recorder dot, instead of the media recorder dot stop, and then I'm going to type media recorder again, then I'm going to use media recorder and hit a tab key, and then I'm going to release. So I'm going to stop. After stopping the media recorder, I'm going to release the media recorder. Then I'm going to set the media recorder to is equal to null. So that's all about the coding of stop recording. Now it's time to code the onRecord method. Now I'm going to create another method of private type, that is a private void, and it's the name of the method is onRecord. That method will accept one parameter of type boolean, and I'm going to specify the name of the variable as start. And inside of this, first I will check for the variable name. If there is a start, then I will open the block of code for if. I'm going to call the start recording method. Else, if it is not start, means if the start variable is not true, then I'm going to call the stop recording method. And I'm going to also check for the file name. If recording number equals to 1, then I'm going to use a toast class of toast. I'm going to create a variable of toast recording message is equal to toast. Inside of this, I'm going to pass the context, that is get application context, and after that semicolon, I need to specify the text. So I'm going to type the song. Then again I'm going to use a plus operator, and I'm going to type 6, then plus, then I'm going to type here saved. Then I'm going to make the length of the toast to short, and after that end it with a semicolon. If recording number is not equal to 1, then I also need to show the recording message. So I'm going to type recording message dot show. If recording number is not equal to 1, then we need to check for the else condition. Then I'm going to create a variable. Then I'm going to create a variable of int type, and I'm going to call this variable as int temp recording number equals to recording number minus 1 after semicolon. Then I'm going to copy the same code here, that is the toast line, paste it here. The song, and I will just need to remove. Here I need to specify the temporary 6 with 2 temporary recording number. So that's all about the coding of our onRecord method. Now it's time to code our onRecord method that we have specified as a click event of inside the record button. So here first I need to check. I'm going to call the method onRecord, and I'm going to specify the boolean variable value as mStart recording. And after that I need to check for the condition. If mStart recording means the recording is started, then I need to set the record button text, not return. Record button text, I'm going to specify the set text to finish. And after that, in the else statement, I'm going to again set the text to, that is record button dot set text, and I'm going to specify the record. After the end of this, I'm going to write one more line of code, that is mStart recording if it's not mStart recording. Now this line of code is basically used to stop the recording. If you not specify this line, then you have no way to actually stop the recording. Means if the recording is started, then with this line of code it will allow us to finish the recording when we tap on the button. So now it's time to run the application. So I'm going to run it on my virtual emulator. So I'll simply hit OK. So here you can see that our application is up and running. So I'm going to allow all permission. And we got all permission. Now I'm just simply going to click on this record button. So you can see that now our recording is started. So when I click on any piano keys, and I just simply click on this finish button again. So song 1 saved. So I'm also going to run this application on my physical device. Let me connect it first my physical device. So here I'm going to select my physical device that's running API level 25. I'm going to hit OK. So you can see that our application is up and running on my physical device as well. So I'm going to click on this record button. So you can hear the voice. Now I'm going to click on this finish button. So song 2 is saved because I have already run the application once before this one. Now again I'm going to click on the record button. And again I'm going to click on the finish. So song 3 is saved. So our application is running fine. So that's all about this lecture. From next lecture onwards, when we click on this play button, so we want to play our music, means the recorded music that we record with the use of this record button. So we are going to implement this feature in our upcoming lectures. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to design the play screen activity. Means we are going to create an activity and then we are going to design the play screen activity in which when we tap on the button then we want to play a recorded audio. In previous lecture we had already implemented the recording functionality of our piano application. So in this lecture I'm going to design the layout. So switch back to Android Studio and first you need to clear the activity. Here I already have the playing activity but I delete that activity because it gives a problem when I just code the and it gives a problem, it doesn't run properly. So I just delete the entire activity and then again I just recreate the project on my another system and it works fine. So right now you just need to click on this app folder and just simply go to this activity and here you need to select the empty activity. And you can name it your activity as playing activity. So I'm going to name it as playing activity. Then simply hit finish. Then wait for the grader to complete the syncing of the project. So you can see that our activity is successfully created. Just minimize it and just expand this res directory, go to the layout and here select this activity playing. So I'm going to switch to the constraint layout. So I want constraint layout for this screen because it makes easy. So first I need to switch it to landscape mode. Then I'm going to place one text view and just set the constraint like this. Then you need to place it there. Then we need 6 buttons. So I'm going to place one button here. Then I need to set the constraints just like this. Then another button just below this button. Then I need another button, that is this one. So total I need 3 more buttons more, means total button I need is 6. So I'm going to do it quickly for you, then I will be continuing the video. So here you can see that I have placed all the 6 buttons and a text view. So now switch back to text mode and here we are going to add some properties. Means we want to make some changes into properties. So I'm going to type my songs. Then I'm going to increase this, that is text size to 35 dp. This looks nice. Now it's time for button. So I'm going to type it here, play song 1. And for second one, I'm going to type play song 2. Then I'm going to quickly rename all the buttons. Then I will continue the video. So now I have renamed the old text of the buttons. Now it's time to create some drawable resources. So we are going to create the drawable resources in our next lecture. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I am going to create some drawable resource file for our playing activity. So let's start this lecture by switch back to your Android Studio. So first you need to create some drawable resource file. So simply click on this drawable resource file, means right click on this drawable resource file and here select the drawable resource file. And from there, name your drawable resource file play song shape. And simply hit OK. Then again we need another file, that is drawable resource file. So I'm going to name it as play song shape pressed. Then simply hit OK. So just open all this door file, just close all the remaining files. Now simply click on this play song shape.xml file and hit this button, that is text. Then I'm going to click on this project tab so that I get a more wider area to work. So now we need to change this selector to shape. So simply select it and just hit a tab key. Now inside of the shape we need corners. So simply open a tag, that is corners, hit a tab key and inside of this we need to specify a radius. So I'm going to specify the radius as 72 pp. After that close the tag with the self tag. Then I need a gradient. So I will typing a gradient and I'm going to specify the gradient angle to 45 and after that I need another property, self close. I just want a self close tag. Then again I need to specify a start color. A start color I'm going to specify a hex code that I have already experimented with this hex code. So I'm going to type 4741 capital E and then 8. So we'll get this nice looking color. After that I need to specify end color. The end color I'm again going to specify hex code. So simply hashtag then capital B, then specify E capital E, then 3 and then capital B F. Then I need to specify the type of the gradient. So the type of the gradient is linear. And after that I need to specify a padding tag. So padding. Then here I need to specify the padding bottom to 0 dp. Then I need to close the tag to self tag. Then again I need some more properties. In the left padding I am going to specify 0 dp. Then the right padding I am going to also specify 0 dp. And again I am going to specify the top padding as also 0 dp. Then I need to specify the size by opening a size tag. In size I need to specify the width, that is 216 dp. Then I need to self close the tag. Then here I need to specify the height, and the height I am going to specify as 60 dp. So you can see that this looks like a button background. Now similarly we need to code the play song shape press.xml file. Just click on it and switch back to text mode and then change the selector to shape. Hit a tab key. And again I'm going to specify a corner inside of this. So type as corners Then I need to specify radians. So radius should be 72 dp. Then self close the tag. Then again need to start a gradient with a tab key and angle. I'm going to specify at 45. Then I need to self close the tag. Then here I need to specify the start color. Start color, and I will be specifying a hex code. So hex code hashtag 33 DC E, and then we need to specify 8. Then again I need to specify end color, and I need to specify hashtag 1 capital C, then 7 E F, and then another F. Then I need to specify the type of the gradient. The type of the gradient should be linear. Then here I need to specify the padding. Simply opening a padding tag, and the padding from, I'm just simply going to copy the code so that it will be quick for me. Copy it because it will be the same code. Then I also need to specify the height and width. So the size tag, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to specify it here. So that's all about the coding of our both drawable source file. Now it's time to link those drawable file in our activity. So we are going to do that when we are going to code the playing activity. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to code inside the PlayingActivity.java file. So let's start this lecture. So switch back to the Android Studio, and here just simply click on this PlayingActivity.java file and just create a room at the top of the file, and I'm just simply click on this project tab so that I get a more wider area to work. Then first I'm going to create a variable of private, that is of type Mediaplayer, because for playing the audio we need a media player. The media recorder is used to record the audio, and the media player is used to play the audio. Then I'm going to create a variable mPlayer and hit a semicolon. Then I'm going to create variable of buttons, is button, and the button variable is record 1, comma, record 2. Then I need some boolean variables, so I'm going to type here boolean variables. So I'm going to type private boolean is playing 1, hit semicolon. Then I'm going to duplicate it to many times, and I'm going to change it to 2, then this one to 3, then this one to 4, this one to 5, this one to 6, and I also need a 1 that is simple boolean playing, and just remove the last one. So these are the variables that I need. Now it's time to initialize all the button variables inside the onCreate that are our view. So I'm going to type record 1 is equal to, we need to typecast it into button so that we in a safest side, so that our application doesn't get crashed. Find variable id r dot id dot, and the id of the first button is button. Now I'm going to hit a semicolon. Then I'm going to, by using Ctrl plus D, means by using a shortcut Ctrl D, I'm going to duplicate into many times. So I'm going to specify here 1, but there is no button 1. So I'm going to switch back to again. The layout file is activity playing. So I'm going to see the ID. So this is our text, this is our button. So button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5, button 6. So we are missing with button 5, button 6. And we have button 4, we have button 3, button 2, but we don't have button 1. So that gives us an ID error. So I need to specify here button 2. Here I need to specify button 3. button 3, then here I need to specify button 4, then 5, and then here a 6. So button 1 is not specified in the ID, so here I need to specify the code 2, and 3, here is 4, here I need to specify 5, and I need to specify 6, not 5. Then I have done the initialization of the button. I am going to specify the default background to our button so that when we run it, so we can see a default background, that is play song shape. So it's a set background. It's not a ser background, it's a set background. That's when we need set background resource r.drawable dot play song shape. So I'm going to duplicate it to many times. Then I'm going to change it to the variables. That is 2, that is 3, that is 4, that is 5, and that's the last one is 6. So yeah, we have set the default background to all the button variables. Now it's time to initialize the all bool variables to false. So is playing is equal to false. Then into semicolon. Then again is playing 1 is equal to false. Then I'm going to duplicate it too many times. Then I'm going to again change it to the variable's name. 3, 4, 5, and then the last one is 6. Now it's time to write a method to play our audio files. So I'm going to type a first method for playing a first audio. So I'm going to type public, that is this one, public void, that is void, and I'm going to type play 1. And here I'm going to specify a view, that is this one, and again I'm going to specify a view. Now this play1 method is, I also need to specify this as an event inside our activity file. So I'm going to quickly define the events, that is our button. So here I'm going to specify a event on click, and I'm going to specify play1. Then instead of button 2, I'm going to specify a on click event, and to specify on click event play 2. Similarly, in button 3rd, I need to again specify on click, so I'm quickly going to specify it, that is play 3, and this one is for our play 4, so I'm going to specify on click, then play 4, and this one on click, that is play 5. Then there is a last one, that is on click event, not play directly, at a tab, play 6, not 5, it's a 6th. So I need to create all these methods inside our PlayingActivity.java file. So I'm going to use a shortcut process by clicking on this red bulb icon and create a play6 method in a PlayingActivity. I'm going to click it, it will create the method for us. And similarly, again I'm going to switch it to play 5. Now the simplest approach I can do, I just simply copy and paste it, so that it will save little time. So this is our play 1, that's a play 2, that's a play 3, and that's a play 4, and this one our play 5. Now simply hit enter. Instead of this, we need to do a code for our playing song. So let's start doing the coding of this playing of the audio. So first we need to check for the condition. If it's not is playing, that is playing 1, and when we are using a logical AND operator, and then again is, if it is not is playing, then we want to do the following, that is we want to set the code 1 dot set background resource to r dot drawable dot play song shape pressed. And after that I need to call a start playing method, but right now I have not created a start playing, so I'm going to just simply type the start playing method. Right now I have not created the start playing method, so I'm going to create it. So at the end you can see this method is created. So I'm going to take it into the bottom of the method, bottom of the play 6 method. So instead I'm going to pass it here one argument, that is 1. So this argument, so that means this method will accept one argument of integer type. So I'm going to type recording number. So this will be the argument, that is recording number, that our start playing method will be take. Now again continue the code, and after start playing the code we need to set the is playing equals to true, means that our song 1 is playing. Then we also need to set the is playing 1 to equals to true. If it is not playing, means else. And check for the else if condition. If it is not playing, because there is a situation when it is not playing, then we want to handle that situation as well. So I'm going to try is playing. And again I'm going to use a logical AND operator. Then again I'm going to type is playing. Then we want to do the following. I'm going to type here a stop playing method. Stop I have to make it capital. Then I need to create this method. First I'm going to semicolon. Come on, the red bulb icon. So it's not giving a red bulb icon, I just need to copy it. And here I'm going to give it a name as private void, and I'm going to specify this. So that will remove the error. This is a stop playing method. After that I need to set the resources of all the buttons to the default resources. So record 1. This is our button 1, set background resource to r.drawable play song shape. Then I'm going to duplicate it many times. Then here I'm going to change the variable names to 3, then 4, then 5, and then 6. Then we need to set the all boolean variables is playing 1, not is playing to false. Then I'm going to duplicate it many times. And here is a second, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then the last one is 6. After that I need to set the record 1.set background resource file to r.drawable play song shape pressed. Then I need to call the again start playing method. So I'm going to try start playing and specifying the integer as 1. Then I need to set the is playing 1 to true. Then if it is not a case of both of them, then we need to handle the else part. Which what we have to do, we need to set the record 1 background, that is set background resource to r.drawable play song shape. Then we need to call the stop playing method, and then after we need to set the is playing 1 equals to false. And then after I need to specify the is playing 1 to as well as false. So that marks the completion of code our playing song 1. So similarly you need to define the code for the play song 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6. So I'm going to do it quickly. Just you need to make only one change. From 1 to you need to change 2. If you are writing the code for play song 4, then you need to replace all 1s to 4. So I'm going to copy the code and just doing quickly, then I will be continuing the video so that you don't need to watch the boring stuff, that is a replicated process. So now you can see that I have did all the coding for playing song, that is from play 1 to play 2, that is our play 2, that is our play 3, and this is play 4, that's it play 5, and the last one is play 6. Now it's time to code these start playing and stop playing method. So let's do it. Now here first we need to initialize our MPlayer, that is our MPlayer equals to new Mediaplayer, and then hit a semicolon. Then I need to use a try catch block because this code may be throw an exception. So instead of try catch, I am going to use a switch case statement, and a switch, and here I need to pass the recording number, and inside of this switch I am going to start a switch block, and I am going to specify a case 1. So that's will be case 1, and then that will be a MPlayer dot set data source, that is our file name, m1 file. So what I have to do, I have to do m file name 1, and that file name we want to insert it by pressing Alt Enter. So it will be inserted at the top, that is there. Now it's giving an error because we have not handled the exception yet. So I'm going to type here catch, and I'm going to catch the exception, that is IO exception. So I'm going to handle the IO exception E, and I'm going to specify the code. So now you can see that the error is gone. So you can here print a log catch statement if you want, log.e. There is a failed, and there is another one, failed, and here I am going to specify semicolon. Then after that you need to specify a break statement. So similarly you need to copy and paste the code and just simply change the file names. Then here you need to change it to 2, then here you need to change to 2, then here you need to change it to 3, then here you need to change to 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 4, then 5, then you need to change it to 6, and hit here Alt plus Enter to add the package of these files. So you can see that this is all about the coding for start playing method. Now it's time to code the stop playing method as well. So instead of this stop playing method, first we need to release the player by calling a release play method. Then after we need to MPlayer, then we need to null. Then it's better to actually inside of the onPause method, we also need to do the same code. So I'm going to override a method called onPause. There's a method of activity lifecycle. Inside of the onPause, just simply check for the condition if MPlayer, if Mediaplayer object means MPlayer is not equal to null. Then if it is not null, then the condition will be true. So we need to release the MPlayer by calling a release method, and also we need to set the MPlayer to null, means initialize it to null. And also we need to add the same code. I'm going to override the onStop method as well. on stop. Inside of this I'm going to copy the same code to release the media player and then initialize it too. Now it's time to see the code in action. But before that we need to make some changes in our manifest file. So open your manifest file and here you can see that this is our splash activity, this is our main activity, and we need to also make this activity to run in landscape mode by default. So we need to copy this code and then inside of this activity we need to paste it. So now we are pretty much ready to run our application. So I'm going to again click on playing activity. Now it's time to run the application, but before running the application I need to add more code because I have not started the media player. So I'm going to type mplayer dot prepare, that is this one, and again I need to type mplayer dot, that is start. So now we are pretty much ready to run our application. So I'm going to run this application on my physical device. So I'm selecting my physical device. So you can see that my application is up and running. So first I'm going to test the piano keys. It's working fine. Then I'm now going to click on this one record button. So I'm going to record a song. So you can see that song 5 is saved. Now I'm going to click on this play button and I'm going to click on this song 5. Then you can see that when I click on song 5, it's actually playing, but it actually changed the drawable of play song 1. So that's a bug that we need to fix. So this is a bug where we have not actually changing the drawable resources. So I need to find that bug. So that the bug is where actually when I press this song 5, then we need to change the background to play song shape. But ultimately it changed the background of, so here I need to change it to 5. This is our bug. Here I need to change to 5 because we have copied and pasted the code. That's why this bug is here. So this is for this is right. Here is a recording button 6. This is record button 6. This is record button 6. Then I need to check for the record button 5 is good. Check. Here is a check. Then record button 4 is actually here is correct. Then here I need to again specify record button 4 because there is a record button 1 is there. And also there is a record button 3, record button 3. Then there is I need to specify the record 3. Then there is a record 2 button. There is a record. Now everything is fine. Now again I'm going to run the application on a physical device. So here is our application is up and running. So I'm going to click on this play button. And I'm just going to click on this play song 1. So you can see that play song 1 is playing. I'm going to click on back and I'm going to record the audio again. So you can hear the audio of our application. Now our application is fully created and it has all the functionality. Left navigation button, right navigation button, it has a recording functionality as well as a playing song functionality as well. Now I'm going to play the 6th song, that is, you can hear this audio of the sound as well. So now it's time to run the application on my virtual emulator as well. So I'm going to select my virtual emulator. So here you can see that application is up and running. So I'm going to click on this record button and I'm going to just randomly typing some note and I'm just click on this finish button and again I'm going to click on this play button and song 3 is saved, so I'm going to click on this. So you can see that application is, but you can't hear the audio of virtual emulator. This is because that's why I'm running this application simultaneously on my physical device as well. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to design the splash screen of our piano app. But before that you need to download this file. This is a project app logo file that is in a WinRAR format, means RAR file. When you extract this file, you will get this folder and inside of this folder, I have created a logo for the app. So, we simply going to copy this logo and I'm going to paste it into inside the Android Studio. Simply I'm going to click on this project tab, and from there I'm going to select this drawable tag, and here I'm going to right click it and I'm going to paste it there. That's our piano underscore icon underscore logo. So I'm going to rename it into simple logo and hit OK. Now I'm going to close all the activities files, means the open file, and from there I'm going to select the activity/.xml file. So I'm going to switch it into landscape mode, and from there I'm going to select a one image view, and I'm going to drag it at the middle of the screen. Then from there I'm going to select my piano logo, that is this one, and hit OK. I'm going to place it into the middle of the screen and adjusting the constraint. So I have done the adjustment of the image view. Now I'm going to select a text view, just placing it at the middle of the screen. And I'm going to select it here, there, and I'm going to make it into the middle. Now I'm going to switch into text mode, and by selecting the text view, and I'm going to name the text view as, means the name of our piano app, because I have not specified the name of my piano app. So I'm going to name it as Easy Piano, because I'm naming it as Easy Piano because I showed you the most easiest way of creating the piano application. Then I'm going to increase the size of this to 40 dp. Now the 40 dp is too big for the logo as well, because I want to make it a little smaller. So 15 dp. Now I'm going to make it into 30 dp. 30 dp seems more. I'm going to make it 20 dp. And I'm going to specify the text style to bold, and the text color I'm going to specify it into #000 for the darker black. Then for the background color I'm going to choose the same color that is of this taskbar, that is our this. Now for the background color I'm going to use the same color like this one. So this is our layout. So I'm going to type background color primary dark. So this will be the same look like our this color. So you can use it color, experiment with the color. Just for the demonstration purpose I'm using this color. So I have did the coding, and now it's time to actually connect the file to our splash screen activity. So I'm opening a splash screen activity, and at the top I need to create some variable. So here I'm going to initialize my image view, that is image view, and I'm going to specify it with the S, that is for splash. Then again I'm going to type a text view, that is text view, and again I'm going to specify it, end it with the S, that is for splash. Then I need to initialize these views into onCreate method. So this is our onCreate method. At the top of I'm going to initialize here our all the views. So I'm going to type image view, that's image view equal to, and I'm going to typecast into image view. Then I'm going to find view by ID, and the ID I'm going right now I don't specify the ID, it's a default ID. So I'm going to specify the ID to splash, and at the end of this text view I'm going to also specify the ID as splash. So that's it for the ID, and r.id.splash. Now first I need to type image view, that is splash, and hit a semicolon. Then I'm going to specify the text view as equals to text view, then find view by ID, and then r.id.text view splash, then hit a semicolon at the end. So I have initialized the views, and I have designed the application layout, that is for the splash screen. Just make it little top. That's it. So that's all about this lecture. In next lecture I'm going to add some more code for our splash screen activity, that is for splash screen transition. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture, I'm going to add the animation code for the splash screen. So let's start this lecture and switch back to your Android Studio. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to click on this project tab, and here at I'm going to click on rest directory, and from there I'm going to press right click, and I'm going to click on this new and selecting the Android resource directory. And from there I'm going to specify a folder called anim, that is for animation. Then click on this OK button and it will create an anim folder there. Thus I'm going to click on this, right click on this anim folder, and here you need to create an animation resource file. Name the animation resource file as transition and simply press OK. And you can see that we have our transition.xml file. Inside of this transition.xml file, simply select this set and change it to alpha and hit a tab key. So you can see that it is now changed into alpha. Then at the end of this, you need to press enter, and you need to type from alpha, that is a property, and you need to specify 0.0. Then the another property is to alpha, and here you need to specify 1.0. Then for animation we need duration, so I am going to use a duration. So first I am going to duplicate this code by pressing Ctrl D, and here I am going to select this one, and I am going to type duration, and the duration is not in minutes, it is in thousands. So I am going to type 2000. So that's it for the coding of transition.xml file. So in next video I am going to use this transition.xml file inside of splash screen activity to animate these two views, that is image view and text view. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I am going to code the actual splash screen code. So let's start this lecture by switch back to your Android Studio. So here I am going to open my splash screen activity.xml file. So what I am going to do, I am going to create an object of animation class. So I'm going to type here, press a tab key and again tab key, and I'm going to type animation, that is animation, and I'm going to type animation again is equal to, and here I'm going to specify another class name, that is animation utils dot, and I'm going to use a method called load animation, and here you need to specify the context. I'm going to type this and enter some comma, and here you need to specify the name of the file in which your animation exists, means the XML file that is actually exists in our res directory, under anim directory, and under. So this file is actually exists in res, then anim, then our transition.xml file. So we need to give the file name here. So I'm going to type capital R, that is for res, and I'm going to type anim, and inside of anim we have transition. So that's for the code. Now it's time to set these animations to our views. So first I'm going to set it into text view dot start animation. So I'm going to use a method called start animation, that is this one, and here you need to specify the object of animation class, that is animation. Then I'm going to do the same with the image view dot start animation, and here you need to specify animation. So now we are done with the code of animation, but for now it will just gives a little transition effect. It will not be a splash screen activity until we use a thread. Now it's time to use the thread class. So I'm going to click it here, and I'm going to type thread, that is thread, and creating an object of a thread class, that is thread, and hitting a tab key equals to new. By using a new operator I'm going to initialize the object of thread to a thread. Now here I'm going to type new again and a runnable. Then it will give us a code. I'm going to hit a semicolon at the end. Then inside of void run I'm going to type a try catch block, means I'm going to start a try catch block, that is try, and again I'm going to catch the exception. So inside of try I'm going to use a method called sleep. So I'm going to press alt enter to enter is package, that is thread.sleep. Now we need to catch the exception. So I'm going to type here interrupted exception, that is E, and then I need to close the block. Now I'm going to print the stack trace, that is e dot, and I'm going to call the method called print stack trace. Then I'm going to specify at last a finally block that will be executed, and inside of finally block we need to copy and paste the whole code that is started from there too. So I'm going to just go to the below of onCreate. So here is my onCreate ended, and then from there I need to copy whole the code inside of this finally block. Just hit Ctrl V. So what will it does? Now here it will wait for 5 seconds, and then if there is any exception it will catch it, otherwise this finally block will be executed, which is used for the runtime permission check. So I'm going to run this code to see that in action. So I'm going to run it on my virtual emulator. So here you can see that our splash screen appears. So it's actually stuck in the splash screen because I have made a mistake, and that mistake is I have not started the thread. So at the end of here I need to start the thread. So here I need to start the thread. So I'm going to type thread dot start. Now it's time to run the application to see it whether it's working or not. So before that I need to uninstall the application. So I'm going to uninstall it. Click OK. So now application is installed. Now I'm going to run the application. So selecting the virtual emulator. So here you can see that our splash screen appears, and then it will ask for the permission. So I'm going to allow all the permissions. So you can see that we got all permission. Now our application is now running with the splash screen. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to add some improvements to our piano application. So if I just install the application to show you some concepts, means the bug that we want to fix in this video. So first I'm going to build the application again into my virtual emulator. So I'm going to OK and wait for the Gradle to build our application into our virtual emulator. So you can see that our splash screen appears. Now it will be asked for the permissions. So I'm going to allow all permissions. And you say we got all permission. This is a toast message. Now after that, if I close the application and again try to run the application, now splash screen is showing, then it will be crashed. So you can see that inside the logcat it is crashed. Can't toast on thread that not called looper. So this is because we are calling a toast statement inside the non-UI thread, means the threads are actually working in the worker thread. So if we try to call the UI thread component, that is toast, is actually running in the UI thread, means on the main thread. If I try to call this in non-UI thread, that is a worker thread, then our application gets crashed, and that's the reason why our application again not running. It's run on the first time when we build the application, but for the next time it is not running. It gets crashed. So to fix this, we want to just remove this toast statement from here. I simply delete that, and again I'm just first uninstall the application. We hit OK, and again I'm trying to build the application into my virtual emulator. So you can see that now splash is appearing. So I'm going to allow all permissions. You can see that our piano is here. Now again I'm going to close the application, just clearing from the recent task as well. And again I'm going to click on this application icon. So here you can see that now this time application runs fine without any error. Now the problem is because of the toast statement. We deleted the toast statement from this method. That is, if I undo it, so you can see that this is our toast statement. We need to delete this statement so that our application works fine. Otherwise, if we don't delete it, then it's actually a main UI thread component, means a main UI thread statement. So if you try to run the main UI thread statement inside of the non-UI thread that is known as worker thread, so we will get an error. So if you are aware with the activity lifecycle components and some async task concepts, then you will be pretty much know what I am saying. So that's a quick fix for this lecture, means the fix, that's a bug we fixed in this lecture. So in next lecture I'm going to add a code for adding the back button, means on back press, means when we press the back button, then it will take us to the splash screen. So we don't want to go to splash screen, instead we want to completely exit from the application along with the dialog box. So we are going to do that in our next video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I am going to handle the back press button of our application. So when we press on this back button, we want to completely exit from the application from the piano screen as well. Means when we are on piano screen, so when I press on this back button, I want the result that it will completely exit from the application along with without showing this splash screen. So to achieve this, we want to write some code. Now the basic concept of this is we want to exit from the second activity without going back to the first activity. So here our first activity is our splash screen activity and our second activity is our main activity. So I'm going to open both. So the first I'm going to close all the XML files. So at the top of the splash screen activity, I'm going to add a one constant. So here I'm going to define a one constant that is of private static and of integer type, and here I'm going to define an exit code. Then initialize it to 100 or whatever you want. Then after that, then inside of the onActivity result method that we have already overridden, that is below, you can see that this is our onActivity result. So from there we need to check for the condition. So here I'm going to, after the end of this request code checking, then we want to check another condition. So we will type if request code equals to exit code, then we want to perform the action. Then again I am going to check for the if request code is equal to result, okay. Then we want to again check for the condition if data dot get boolean extra. I'm going to specify the name as exit and the value I'm going to specify default value to true. Then I'm going to hit a semicolon. Then after that, if this is happen, then we want to finish the task by calling finish method. So that's a code. Now another thing I want to change, then here I need to make some changes inside of the proceed after permission method. So I'm going to type a method. Instead of start activity, I'm going to use a method called start activity for result. So I'm going to use a method start activity for result. And instead of start activity for result, I'm going to use a new operator and then type a intent, and here we need to specify a context. So the context is splash activity dot this comma, and I'm going to specify the main activity in which we want to go, MainActivity dot class. Now after that I need to specify a bundle object, that is bundle extra. So I'm going to specify the exit code. So that's it for the coding of our splash activity. Next time to code the main activity. So inside of main activity, first we need at the bottom I'm going to override a method that is on back press. So I'm going to type on back pressed. So this is a method that we want. So inside of this on back press method, we need to define an alert dialog. I'm going to type alert dialog, not alert dialog, just alert dialog dot builder, and here I need to specify the context, that is this. And after that, I need to set the title. So with the use of dot operator, I'm going to set the title of character sequence. So here I'm going to specify a method. Do you want to exit and a question mark. And after that, I'm going to specify another method and set a message. I'm going to type set title. Are you sure you want to exit? It's a message or whatever you want to print. I'm going to use are you sure you want to exit. Then again, I'm going to set a negative button as well. I'm going to type set negative button. Here I'm going to specify r dot string dot no. I'm going to specify comma. So this no I'm going to specify in the string.xml file. But for now I'm just typing a listener. I'm going to specify the listener as null. Then again I'm going to set the positive button. Set positive button. So I'm going to specify r dot string dot yes, comma, and again here I need to specify the listener. So here I am going to create a new dialog interface. Inside of this dialog interface, I am going to set result method. I am going to use this one method set result, and here I am going to specify the result OK. And again I am going to specify the second argument, that is new, and I am going to call a intent. And inside of then with the use of intent I am going to use a method put extra, and here I am going to specify the key name, that is exit. Make sure the key name is same, not make mistake, along with the proper capitalization. Then I am going to set the value to true. So that's it for the coding of our this thing. Now at the end we need to specify here a finish method, calling a finish, and here I need to specify dot create dot show. Now we need to create these two files in our string.xml file. So I'm going to quickly open my string.xml file, and here I'm going to duplicate it, and here I'm going to specify no. Then the other one I'm going to specify yes, and along with that corresponding name I'm going to specify yes, and here I'm going to specify no. Just make it small. So now you can see that the error is gone. Now it's time to run the application to see the code in action, but before that I need to remove this super callback. If I don't remove the super callback, then our logic will not work properly. Means when we click on the back button, then it will also takes us to the splash activity and also show a dialog and doesn't our application close. So we need to remove this super callback, and now it's time to run the application into my virtual emulator. So here you can see that our application is up and running. Now our piano screen is displayed, so if I click on this back button, so you can see that a dialog box will appear. Are you sure you want to exit? So I simply click on yes. So you can see that our application is now just simply closed. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to fix some more issue in our piano application. So let's start this lecture by switch back to your Android Studio. So here you can see that inside of this text view, means our activity splash.xml file, I have placed one text view for the label of our piano application. So here you can see that I have used a text size as 20 dp, but you can see that in this banner you should use sp instead of dp. Means I need to change it from dp to sp. And similarly inside of activity playing.xml I need to change it here from 35 dp to 35 sp, because sp is the recommended by the Google when you are giving the text size of our text view. So this is the quick fix for this lecture. So that's all about this lecture. Your application will run almost fine. If you try to run the application, it will run same as it is. Just the only difference we had made, just only the screen density pixel. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture.
That's all about this course. If you want to build more application, then it will help you to improve your knowledge. So it's better, after watching this entire course, you should build your own application so that it will improve your knowledge, and you will also face a lot of issues So don't worry, if you face any issue, you can email me directly and you can just simply communicate me on social media. I will definitely try to help you. So thank you for watching and I will see you in the next lecture.